Game 2 of the ALCS, a final from Toronto, where the Mariners take Game 2 thanks in part to their big bats. Jorge Polanco with a 3-run tater to make it 6-3. And then Josh Naylor, Canada's own Josh Naylor, the Mississauga Masher, on Thanksgiving Day, making Seattle fans thankful. A 2-run shot. Seattle has a 9-3 lead. They add a run to make it 10-3, and that is the final. And it is very, very surprising for many in Toronto and around the baseball world, because they did not think they were going to be down 0-2 at home. And in the first 2 games of this series, Seattle has scored 13 runs on 17 hits. Toronto, best batting average in baseball, 4 runs on just 8 hits. They have neutralized this Blue Jays lineup. And now the series shifts to Seattle for Game 3 coming up on Wednesday. Get some instant analysis. Welcoming to former first-round pick Lewis Brinson, CBS Sports national baseball reporter Julian McWiliams, and World Series champion Will Middlebrooks. Will, I'm going to go your way first here, because what the Mariners have done is stunning. Up 2-0 in this series. You saw the big bats come out on this game. You saw them grind a win in Game 1. Your instant reaction is what?
Well, I hate the term must win. It feels stupid anytime I say it, but I felt like maybe that was it for Toronto today. That was a must win just based off of history, right? 25 of 28 teams to win the first 2 games of a 7-game series as the road team have gone on to win the series. And it's just, Lou, you could tell them this is deflating, man. You get punched in the mouth like this at home after you dominated there all season, and now you have to fly across the country. You're down 2-0. It's tough to bounce back from this, especially when they just beat your best 2 arms.
Absolutely, man. It's deflating as a team, especially the Toronto Blue Jays at home, who played so good at home in front of that crowd. You take the 10th man. I call the Blue Jays fans the 10th fan, or the 10th man on the field. You take them completely out of this series, or the first 2 games at home, and the Blue Jays just couldn't get anybody going. You neutralized your star. They've been able to neutralize your star in Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Hadn't gotten a hit yet this series. Obviously, Lucas has been raking, but it's very, very concerning to me that the Blue Jays just can't get anything going so far this series.
I'm not surprised. I just want to let you know.
Okay.
I had the Mariners in this series. And look, Julian, I'll take you back to the trade deadline.
I know.
And I was all about the Mariners, and I said, hey, this team could make a deep run. And you said at that point, Julio Rodriguez needs to get going. He homered in this game to make a statement there in the first inning.
He's been special this entire playoff. It seemed like he just went to another level, sort of on that Vlad level where in the ALDS where Vlad just couldn't get out. Julio Rodriguez has been on that stage, and I think good for Julio Rodriguez, right? Because oftentimes we don't get to see him play every night, right? Because it's 3 hours behind. But now this is the postseason baseball. You're getting to see him play on a nightly basis. You're getting to see the impact he can have both at the plate and on defense. What a special player.
Yeah, I mean, Julio Rodriguez is your superstar, right? But yesterday you had Cal Raleigh, and then you had Jorge Polanco be your stars. And then tonight you have Julio in the first inning taking advantage of, we'll get to it later, but taking advantage of a bad call by the umpire there. And then you have Polanco again, and then you got Josh Naylor. So you're just seeing all the options that this Seattle Mariners team has, and just everything that is going their way right now. For them to get 2 games on the road in just a hostile environment in Toronto, man, it's been huge, and Julio's been the centerpiece for them.
Yeah, Doug Eddings was bad in this game. Will Arozarena in the top of the first, thought he was rung up on a 1-2 pitch on a slider. Later, hit by a pitch. Then Raleigh walks. Then the J-Rod 3-run homer on a splitter from Trey Yesavage, and that was his pitch, right? That was the pitch that seemed unhittable to the Yankees in his first postseason start. 11 strikeouts, 5 1/3 no-hit baseball, and they're able to find a way against Trey Yesavage. And look, Will, you said it. This was a must-win because they can't go down 0-2, and here they are down 0-2, but that was a ton of pressure on a 22-year-old making just his 5th major league start.
Yeah, he was still good. He gave up runs on the one swing on the Julio Rodriguez homer. He just wasn't dominant like he was his last time out. He didn't have the same feel for a splitter. I think that was clear. His last time out, he was getting ahead with well-executed fastballs at the top of the zone into both lefties and righties. And then the splits were starting in those same tunnels and falling below the zone. He was throwing some splitters over the middle of the plate and then some uncompetitive pitches. He threw 16, 17 of them and only got 2 swing and misses. I thought Seattle had a great plan against them. So many times they were just trying to recognize it out of the hand, and if they saw it, they just weren't swinging at it because so often it was a ball. So they just had a good plan against them today.
I also want to take you back to some defensive miscues. We saw Dalton Varsho make a play in the top of the third where he comes in on a ball. He's a little bit late. But here I want to take you back, Lewis, back to April against the Red Sox.
How the hell?
He made that catch, but then he failed to make a similar type catch later in this game.
Yeah, tonight it just you see this ball off the bat. First of all he turned the wrong way, and then he kind of turned himself around there, and it looked like he got stuck sort of at the end. But Dalton Varsho is a Gold Glover. Dalton Varsho is one of the best center field defenders in the league. Tonight he just didn't look like he had the route efficiency that we're used to seeing him have. So it was just very, very strange to me for him to take that route on that ball, because I know, and Will knows, and everybody at this desk knows that he probably says like 9 times out of 10 I catch this ball. And it was very, very strange to me to see him have those miscues, those route miscues out there tonight. It was very strange.
Hey Lou, I mean, you played the outfield a lot.
Yeah.
So is that the case of him just trying to find the wall? Because I feel like so many outfielders, when they know the ball is going to be close to the wall like that, they turn the sprint, they glance at the wall, and then they find the ball again. Is that just a case of losing it in that process?
Well, he did turn. He turned initially the wrong way, and then you want to turn around your back shoulder. So you want to not cross up your feet, kind of do a karaoke there at the end of that play. But he did turn and see the wall, but he's been playing there all year, so he knows where the wall is. He should know where the wall is, in my opinion. But again, 9 times out of 10 he catches that ball, and if you ask him in the post-game interview, I could almost guarantee he's like, man, I should catch that ball 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. He should catch that ball, and you know about making catches like that in center field. Look, Jorge Polanco is like the unsung hero of this postseason for Seattle. A couple of home runs against Scooble. This is like the forgotten guy, right? You go up and down their lineup, and I know they have young players in Dom Canzone and Mitch Garver, but you're talking about J.P. Crawford, Randy Rosarena, Suarez, of course, Cal Raleigh, and Julio Rodriguez. But Polanco, he's the cleanup hitter in this lineup, which is wild when you have Josh Naylor on this roster. And Polanco, Julian, his first 10 at-bats this postseason, 0 for 10. Last 7 ABs, 4 for 7, the homer on this night, and 5 RBI. I mean, what can you say about this guy?
Lou, we talked about it. It's always one of those guys that's not the superstar that comes in and takes over the game. Last year, it was Tommy Edman for the Dodgers. Will, we can even go back to 2018. We know Steve Pearce for the Red Sox when he won MVP for the World Series. It always takes one of those guys to come through in those moments, and Polanco's just been that guy. He's been seeing the ball well, and man, he has an option for next year. I don't know if he's probably going to exercise that option based off just the way he's played this series.
I mean, this guy's making $7 million this year, and this guy's been your aircraft carrier this postseason. I mean, in my opinion, he's going to get a bag next year. Just based on this postseason performance, he's been carrying this offense, and it seems like he doesn't have the numbers to show. He doesn't have the average to show, but every single time he gets a hit, it's a huge hit, and it's driving in runs. So, I mean, he has been unbelievable. And let's not forget, I mean, when he was with the Twins, he was a great player. Last year, he didn't have the best year, but this guy's still a really, really talented player, big league talented player. And this postseason, he's just showing that he could carry an offense. He's hitting fourth in this lineup that has so many superstars. But, man, he is doing his thing so far this postseason.
Will, you had the luxury for playing for a lot of great managers, and we have seen in this series how Dan Wilson has maybe outmanaged John Snyder. And I want to take you back to a moment in the top of the 5th, and I get it, you want to try it, but the Rosarena reaching on the infield single, he advances to second, the ball hit Gino Suarez on the steps. and he's challenging that he's still in play. That's his own ballpark. I'm confused why he challenged. What did you think of that moment there?
Ask Lou. I was texting him. I'm going, what is he doing? I mean, I know you get that extra challenge. So you have 2 challenges in the postseason. So, but that doesn't mean you can just waste one. I mean, this isn't just him, John Snyder, just a blind eye in this. He's got a guy inside, his replay guy in his ear on the phone calling in, that would tell him, hey, this would have hit the padding, or yeah, that was going in the middle of the entryway to the dugout. I mean, that wasn't even close, and he just wasted it.
Yeah, in my opinion, it was going to be in the dugout anyway. You know, rather Gino Suarez is sitting there or not, that ball's going in the dugout. He's getting second base regardless. So I didn't quite understand that challenge there by Schneider. But I mean, again, you just wasted a challenge there. But yeah, me and Will were texting like, what is going on right here? Is he trying to do too much? Or I wasn't really sure with that. But
I don't know.
I think that's what we fall into with these younger managers too, right? Like
this is the first ALCS for him.
Yeah.
Right. And to some degree, the game can speed up on you a little bit. And I think for some people, that was a concern with John Schneider going into the postseason. Look, he's had a phenomenal postseason. The way he's been able to manufacture his bullpens and what he did against the Yankees in Game 4 of the ALDS. But like you said, that challenge, I just didn't understand that challenge.
Yeah.
It was odd, and I get it because it was a poorly called game from behind home plate. You didn't know where the strike zone was on both sides. I didn't understand some of the calls that were made there because they certainly made an impact, and we saw that in the first inning, and then we saw it again later in the game where George Springer was beneficiary of that call. So, look, I get it. There's going to be some bad calls in these playoff games. It happens. But the one thing you cannot argue with, Will, is this Mariners bullpen has been absolutely nails. Let me give you the numbers. In 2 games, 9 innings they have covered, 1 hit. That's it. That's it. And this is a team that used 7 pitchers in that Game 5 winner-take-all. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but all season, we were saying this team is built for the postseason.
Yep.
And all they needed was a little bit of offense. You talked about the trade deadline. They got a couple guys that they brought in Suarez and Naylor that made a big difference. It balanced their lineup. It gave them some pop, not just the contact guys. But this bullpen has been built for the postseason. We've been talking about that all year. This rotation built pretty deep, especially if they get Wu back later in this series. So, look, this team, we've been saying it all year. If they get there and they're healthy, they're going to be a problem. And we're seeing that right now because they're actually getting offense on top of that. And I got to say, give Bryce Miller some love for going 6 innings yesterday.
Absolutely.
Because he saved some guys. He saved some guys and set them up in a good spot today with a day off tomorrow.
I hope they took him out for dinner or something.
They should. I mean, look, you could make an argument, if he comes back and pitches in the series, you could make an argument that he would be the ALCS MVP. It's Jorge Polanco right now.
Polanco's got a couple more homers coming, so don't worry about it.
Exactly. Jorge Polanco's the favorite as we speak right now. Look, teams to lose the first 2 LCS games at home have lost the series all 23 times. So I could sit here and say it's over because history says it's over. And now you're Toronto, and you're putting part of your season into the hands of Shane Bieber, Julian, who they got at the trade deadline, sort of throwing darts, right? He's coming off Tommy John. They make a deal. He has some good outings in the second half of the season. But now you're hoping, and he was not good against the Yankees, as you saw, you're hoping that he can get you 5 innings maybe on the road against a Mariners team because, honestly, the day off is bad for Seattle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking at that game and the Seattle crowd in general. Like, that's another element. Like, they're just waiting for this, right? This is their moment. They can possibly clinch here. And then you have Shane Bieber. You mentioned it. He didn't look good in that wild card game. You know what he looked like to me? A guy coming off Tommy John surgery.
Exactly.
And I think that's the problem here, what you have with this team. It was a move that you shouldn't make at the deadline. I give Toronto all the credit for making that move. But it came with the skepticism of, can he pitch in the postseason the way you expect him to? He's a dynamite pitcher, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, you put a lot of pressure on Yesavage today. Like Will said, he didn't pitch terrible. Just Seattle had a great approach, in my opinion. Seattle was prepared for this game against Yesavage, but you go with Shane Bieber. A lot of pressure on him. He's a great pitcher. He has a great resume with Cleveland. You bring him over at the trade deadline. I understood the move because you just try to add another arm.
It was low risk.
Yeah, low risk.
Sure.
You add another arm. You're expecting to make a deep run in the playoffs, but I can't say that I have a lot of confidence that he maybe gets the job done. I mean, I know that John Schneider and the Blue Jays have a lot of confidence in him. That's why he's pitching Game 3. But, you know, we'll see what happens, man. The Seattle offense is potent right now.
I don't want to be caught on cold takes exposed, but this series is over.
I think it's over, too.
Oh, my God.
I'll say it's over.
I'm with you.
O-V-E-R.
O-V-E-R. Mariners put up 10 runs in this one, one of their highest scoring games in postseason history. They've scored 13 runs on 17 hits in the first 2 games of this series. And the Mariners have their first 2-0 lead in a best-of-7 series in team history. They are now 2 wins away from their first ever World Series appearance, the only franchise to have never played in the Fall Classic. They are 2 wins away. Game 3, Wednesday in Seattle, 3 games at home if necessary. Maybe they wrap it up. We'll see on Thursday. But now they head home with a 2-0 series lead.